Ladies and gentlemen, first thing I want to notice is the fedora has come off because we're going Rabbi Jew Barker in today's show. So that's the first thing you notice. The second thing you might notice is that Digger One has his utensils with him. He's got a spoon for digging holes that he can't get out of. They're so deep. He's got his bippy because on the bottom of the flat earth, the fluids have a tendency to float out of your sippy cup. And more pronounced is Digger One is now carrying a diaper. And the diaper has a very specific reason, and we're going to get into why Digger One carries a diaper. It's not for him, it's for you. Once we get to those notes, you'll understand exactly why this is happening. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read to you all my show notes so that you could see that the title was not the original title several times. I had to work through it. These shows take a lot of effort, a lot of work, and several hours of making notes and removing notes, and plus the fact that we are all aware that all our shows are being monitored by several different police agencies around the world. Now, that's a fact. So what I have to do is I have to change some of the words around in the show notes because Jack Thompson, for instance, right? He's sending me, but don't tell anybody, he's sending me an entire nuclear power plant facility in Balikbayan boxes, okay? So what I told Jack to do was he went and bought a bunch of these atomic clocks. So I told Jack, don't put down in the specially labeled boxes for because they're extra long. Don't put down control curtain rods in the boxes. Put down control posts so they'll think you're building a fence. But Jack, he's not, sometimes he has a brain fart and he put down atomic curtain rods. He should have left the word rod out of there altogether. That's the kind of stuff I have to change. So let me go through the show notes. I'll read them, and then we're going to talk about how the show evolved. Now, large portions of the show, I will tell you, are going to have to do with the party from yesterday. The fact that I have magical thinking, and a month ago I told you that there would be face shields would be mandatory in the Philippines, and now they're practically mandatory everywhere you go. You have to have a face shield to get into a fast food restaurant, and also the jeepney or the buses. I don't know, but you can take it off while you're eating, which defeats the purpose of having a face shield. But I'll go through some of the things that my AKA Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines magical thinking was correct about. And if I was incorrect about some things, I had to strike some of the words, so I won't be able to read all the notes. But I assure you, once I read the notes, you will understand things that you never believed possible. So we see. Now today, because of time restrictions, I'm going to be limited to 3 hours on this show. So want you to understand, let me introduce Digger One. Now, Digger One is going to be very famous one day. We already sent one of Digger One's videos to the White House. I wasn't paying attention a few days ago to Digger One, and what he does is he'll go out and try to bury something. In this case, what his main thing to bury is Mr. Obama. And I caught him out in the yard burying Mr. Obama. I got video. I got it on video, but I'm only going to put it on my Patreon page. And Digger One had Mr. Obama covered with tree debris, stones and rocks and stuff like that. And it was very he was a very bad digger one. So I I want you to understand that at some point during this show, Mr. Obama, he will come to my aid, and so there's a lot of animosity, a lot of angst between these two little fellas, and what's going to happen is you're going to see an all blown out, knockdown, drag out battle between Digger One and Mr. Obama, who loves Michael Fazio, and Michael Fazio, he loves Mr. Obama. So let's get on with the show. So I'll read some of the original show notes. I have to put on the old bifocals there. And I'll read we have Warren. Warren H is in the house. Warren is saying, hello, Digger One. Hey, Warren. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? Heard some things about you, Warren. We'll be talking about that shortly. Promise. Warren, the Philippines experience. Welcome, Gary. God, Gary's been working 80-hour weeks, and he's been gone working. That's what Gary does. He's got nothing to do, so instead of wasting his time, he actually works for a living when it's possible. So he is pumping out the hours so that when he retires to the Philippines, his life will be a life of leisure, and he won't have to worry about anything. So Gary has made a good choice in life to, instead of relaxing when everybody else is screwing off, to work hard. And that's the way it is. That's the way it should be. That's what I used to do. If there was work, I'd work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week until the work was done. That's the way you save money. So Gary and Warren are exchanging amenities. Good afternoon. Good morning, Gary. Good evening. That's right. That's a good plan. So let's get to my show notes, and we're gonna introduce who's watching of the 8 of the police agencies around the top of the bottom of the flat earth. We want to make sure everybody knows. We give them a shout out. First of all, we're going to give a shout out to the NBI. Now, they are, in fact, monitoring several YouTube channels. Shout out NBI Philippines. Shout out Philippines PNP, Philippines National Police. Shout out Scotland Yard. Shout out Scotland Yard. I know it sounds crazy, but Scotland Yard is out there watching our videos. Shout out to Digger One. And life would not be complete. Life would not be complete if I forgot the main topic of today's dissertation, the kangaroo police on the bottom of the flat earth, on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. The kangaroo police are going to be summoned to my show today via thought patterns, and they are going to talk to you and explain things to you that you have never thought possible. But that's for a later part of the show when we get to the part of the kangaroo police and the demands made on the kangaroo police themselves. So first of all, Digger One, can we take this Bippy out? Okay. I don't have to wait for him to answer me. Digger One is going to school teachers. He's going to be a school teacher today. And he's going to teach the people of YouTube how to win friends and influence people by building up your YouTube channel of love. So I know that you would not associate Digger One with a channel of love, and this is going to happen. So again, shout out NBI, shout out Scotland Yard, shout out Interpol. My new subs. I'm getting a lot of subs from the local police departments and things like that. Shout out. Oh, look at Digger One. He's showing off his anti-gravity boots. Yeah. So Digger One is going to teach us about the channel of love on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Now, first of all, I want to talk to you about large portions of today's show had to be removed, curtailed, because of international shipping of atomic clocks and atomics, which Jack labeled control posts, control curtain rods, instead of control posts. And the shipments were put on hold. So Jack is taking full credit, and he will be the one serving time for shipping the control curtain rods from the disassembled nuclear power plant that he had in his backyard in America. So everybody, Thompson, a happy goodbye, because we'll never see him again. But the stuff that he did get to send over, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Now, the reason that I put the diaper on Digger One is not because of what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world with this is true. Something I made note of about a month ago. What's going on in the world with these face diapers and shields? It's causing massive amounts of diminished communication between all peoples, all friends, all neighbors. They are separating you from all of what was normal for the last 100,000 years, verbal communication. Between the face diapers and the face shields on the other person, and then your face shield and face diaper on you. Unless someone yells, you can't hear them. And I see this every time I go in the city. Many people are saying, I cannot hear you. And the people that have the face shield on that are trying to say something, they don't make their voice any louder. And it's worse in the Internal Revenue Service that I spent some time in. It's worse in the banks because they have an additional piece of plexiglass between their person, the counter in front of them, the plexiglass, the counter on the outside of the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the banks, and your face shield and your face mask. You virtually cannot hear anybody anymore. You have to actually somehow know what they want you to do. And I hear this all day long. I can't hear you. Or I have to say, I can't hear you. Or please speak louder. And then they don't. They might speak one octave louder. On the jeepneys and the buses, no one talks to anyone anymore at all. There's no hellos. There's no goodbyes. There's no chit-chat. There's nothing. So these face shields and masks, which I have several tabs open on my computer, are said that the possibility exists that they don't stop as small as the vacation thing. The vacation thing, they don't stop that. They never did. The truth of the matter is, if let's say you're walking, I don't know, let's say you're in your house and a cat does his business in the litter box. If you can smell that, well, that's a lot like the same size as the vacation thing. The vacation, the thing that the mask is supposed to stop the vacation, it's a lot like that. So if you can smell the cat doing his business, nothing is going to stop the vacation from happening and being spread from one vacation to another, from one person to another. So that's a lot of, shall we say, bullshit. Now, enough with the face masks. We'll talk about the fiesta. Had a great time at the fiesta yesterday. In fact, there were several hundred people came and went. Wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. There's a reason for that. I won't tell you what the reason is, but there's going to be an even bigger party next weekend. And so instead of inviting all people for this fiesta, pretty much only about 300 people came and left. Should have been close to 1,500. I was mistaken about that. But then I found out the reason later on, which I knew beforehand, but I didn't want to say. And I won't say, but next week there's a bigger party. Now, one thing that happened at the fiesta was something really interesting, is that one of the members of the community had died, and several of the ladies got together at the end, towards the end of the day. They said what I think is called Vespers, but they said it in Spanish, and 3 women said it at the same time. One was in Spanish, one was in Visaya, and if the other one was in a Philippines language, they were saying it in 3 different languages, or I couldn't understand a third language. So that was really interesting. I have some short clips about that. It lasted 45 minutes. That was really interesting. And now on with the show. On with the show. So, Rabbi, see, we have the bandana on, so we're gonna do Rabbi Jew Barker and his magical thinking is about to take precedence over the show notes. And I was 100% correct about the face shields being mandatory. A few weeks after I said they would be, they did happen. So magical thinking from Rabbi Jew Barker is real, as opposed to some other people's magical thinking, which is not so real. We'll get to that in a minute. First thing, very important. Let's get through the legal stuff first. Gotta put that, I'm putting it down. Put me down, Rabbi. Okay, so the first thing, as I told you, on July 28th of 2020, I had my paperwork in for my tax professional Bureau of Internal Revenue, the BIR, for the Philippines. Now, I told you you had 30 days to complete the paperwork. So the next process was to, at the Bureau of Internal Revenue Service, you don't do any of this. They do it all. You choose a printer, and they send a fax and your paperwork to the printer. And including in your paperwork is what is called the TIN number and your full name and your proper address and your proper telephone number, 2 telephone numbers, if you wish, 3 if you want it. Okay, so you don't get a choice. So no one can just go to a printer. No printer, well, maybe, but you can't just go to the printing office. So a week later, I went to the printing office and I ordered my books, maybe 10 days later. Now, you had 30 days to complete the process. So the long and the short of it is, on August 27th, my books were ready, but still the process is not complete until I sign and pay for 100% the books, and they send back the notification to the BIR. So there's no working around getting these legitimate receipts. So theoretically, I'm running a legitimate scam in the Philippines, because I scam people for money online, and then I pay taxes for the money I scammed the people out of online. So the Philippines government is allowing me to run a scam online and then collecting their end, which they're entitled to. So I'm running a legitimate scam that's illegitimate according to some, but according to the Philippines now, I'm running a legitimate scam on YouTube, baby. So these books were not so expensive. I will show them to you, but I won't show you what's on the books. So I ordered these books. Okay, as you can see, there are 12 books, and they are numbered from 1 to 600. I originally said there were 1,200 pages, but there's an original copy and a secondary copy. So these are my legitimate scams. 1,200, 600 legitimate scams coming right up in your face, baby. So now, if you don't have your books done, there's no more applications are not being taken. Maybe next year, but this year, applications for paying taxes is over. And so if you are collecting money online, there's one thing I'm going to guarantee. I'm going to guarantee you this. No, don't make any bones about this. I am going to report certain people that don't have their legitimate tax identification number. Now, I have mine now 3 years running, but I am definitely, in an upcoming video, I'm going to get the phone number and the email address to the office to report tax evaders. And I'm not going to report them all. I'm just going to be very selective as to who, the ones that make the most money, the ones that make the least money. I might even just do a lotto. I might just put everybody's name in a lotto bucket, and each week I'll pull out a name, because it's not fair to me that you're collecting money and not paying taxes on it. It's not fair to anybody, and it's certainly not fair to the Philippines government that are really struggling to make ends meet to buy poor people in the Philippines. So I'm like the government. I'm here to help. So that's new business, legal business, true business. And now we'll move on past the receipts. Now we have Shoutout. We got a shout out for Jack Thompson. Now, Jack Thompson, as you all know, is a very well-loved, liked man. Hello, Sarah Mason. Welcome to the machine. Sarah Mason is one of my new friends. Thank you for stopping by. Princess Anne, an old friend, thank you for stopping by. And Warren wants to know, Jack had a spare nuclear power plant in the backyard. Now, that came in handy for our next project. So let's go back to the show notes. Jack Thompson. There's a big shout out for Jack Thompson, even though he screwed up. Even though Jack Thompson screwed up. All right, so we talked a little bit about this. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the NBI, the CIA, the NSA, Scotland Yard, Interpol, Philippines National Police, and the Kangaroo Police are watching these videos. So try to limit your aggressiveness in the comments section, please. Okay, so Jack Thompson, he had an extra spare nuclear power plant. So what we need to do in order for me to start what I have to do here in the Philippines is I need a heavy water plant, and I need a diffusion plant, I think it is. I need one of those too. Gaseous diffusion plant. Okay, so now Jack had an extra nuclear power plant, and he's going to ship. We decided we're going to get Balakine boxes and ship this stuff over from America to the Philippines. So I said to Jack, how are you gonna get all of this stuff through the giggling counters when it goes through customs? So Jack says there's no problem to get this stuff through the giggling counters, because Jack went out and bought thousands and thousands of these radium coated clocks with the luminous dials. What we're going to do, don't tell anybody, what we're going to do is we're going to put the stuff that atomics are made of in the middle of the Balakine boxes. And then we're going to surround the atomics themselves with these atomic clocks with the radium dials. That will prevent the giggling counters from noticing some of the atomics. The big thing that Jack had a problem with was the control curtain rods. Those things are like 12 feet long, and they got to be stored and shipped a certain way. And it wouldn't have been a problem if Jack would have put down control posts, but he put down control curtain rods, and some guy with a sharp brain at the customs noticed that this guy, he's shipping control curtain rods. I think that's a code word for something else. And he looked inside and he started glowing, and he was going on, and he got all upset and everything, and then they went and got Jack. But before they got Jack, everything was going smooth. But the good thing is all that stuff was shipped, including some of the things we're going to go over now, which are the important things. The rest of the stuff I can get from the stuff I don't get shipped from America and the extra nuclear power plant that was being shipped. The stuff I don't get shipped, I can get most of that stuff in Ace Hardware Store. Okay, Ace is the place. We got the ballot buying boxes. The weight limit moved up to 1,200 pounds, and we can now ship 12-foot by 3-foot by 3-foot boxes up to 1,200 pounds. That would have been perfect for the control posts, but that didn't happen. So we're going to have to get that stuff from Ace. Now, Jack is sending a heavy water power plant, which costs normally $3 billion, but he's throwing that in to the package. And he's shipping that from the top of the bottom of the flat earth. The next piece of equipment that we definitely need, because of the control posts didn't come, is we need something called the K-25 gaseous diffusion plant. K-25 gaseous diffusion plant. Now that has an estimated value of $5.8 billion. And that's not going to be so problematic because Jack is shipping over ballot buying boxes with 409 billion untraceable $10 and $20 bills for research and development on the bottom of the top of the flat earth. So once Jack, that's a lot of boxes, by the way, that's a lot of boxes. He's only going to ship them 10 boxes at a time. And it'll take about 4 years for that shit to get here, but that's the way that's going to work. So we're going to have the money. We're going to have the K-25 gaseous diffusion plant. The heavy water plant is on its way, and the actual extra nuclear reactor that Jack had in his backyard in Boston, that's being torn down and put in ballot buying boxes as we speak. So now that this is going to save Jack Thompson. These nuts here, these nuts are going to save Jack Thompson almost $1 billion. Because what you don't understand is that these are nuclear nuts. These are very special nuts. Once you get everything else together, and you take these nuts and you smash them together at 535 miles per second, that's a lot of miles, then you can cause what is necessary to do what you got to do. Okay. So these nuts, because I already had a pair of nuclear nuts, they're very big nuts. You can see nuclear means big. Because I had a pair of nuclear nuts in the Philippines, I saved Jack Thompson $1 billion. But more than that, I'll show it to you in the notes. More than that, I saved Jack Thompson almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion on nuclear nuts development. And countless hours of smashing people's nuts together at insane velocities, at insane velocity on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So, Jack, you owe me one, and when you get out of wherever they're storing your ass, you owe me $1 billion worth of thank you. So, nuclear nuts development done. Of course, there's the other thing, we need to smash the nuts, and Jack's got that shit all together too, but not yet. He needs to. We need to wait for Jack to get released from incarceration. I think they call that, something like that. Now, I also want to make note that in my live stream and in all my live stream and upcoming videos that I have, I'm going to be leaving a legacy of love in my uploads for future generations to learn from on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Now, before Jack got taken away in bracelets, which very similar to Digger 1, where I have to keep Digger 1 with the restraints, because every time you turn around, every time you just take your mind off Digger 1 for a few minutes, he goes outside, he's digging holes. And he's been thrown out of 3 universities and 2 colleges. Apparently, the professors, when they take their eyes off him, they have the same problem that I do. And what Digger 1 does is he goes, he doesn't like to try to dig in the basketball courts because that's hard surface. He's very much into digging up the football fields and destroying the football fields all over America. And also they're losing a lot of footballs in the holes. So there's a shortage of footballs at the universities because the holes that Digger 1 digs are so deep that even Digger 1 can't get out of those holes. So when they try to play around the holes, because you can't stop, I'm the only person that could stop Digger 1, and I have to be there. I can't be there all the time. So the university will call me up. I'll go there. I'll just say, oh, my God, look at the size of those holes. And which one? And you know which one he's in because the dirt is flying out of the hole at a very fast rate. So I grab Digger 1. I got a rope, piece of twine that I throw down there, and he puts it around him, and I pull him up. So I'm the only person that can stop Digger 1 from digging the holes. So I can't be there all the time. So Jack Thompson is leaving some information for you people that he wanted to share with the people of the world and also people in the YouTube land. And he says that he knows it was his idea for me to make a YouTube channel and to leave a legacy of love on my YouTube channel. But Jack Thompson, being the smarty pants that he is, he said that Rabbi Chewbacca leaving a legacy of love. I'll let you read it. Oh, you stay there, old fellow. He stands up. Whoa. Wow, he stands up by himself pretty good. Jack Thompson says leaving a legacy of love is like Jim Jones saying, have a sip, says Jack Thompson on the top of the bottom of the flat earth, baby. So he's being facetious. He was the one who came up with the idea of leaving a legacy of love, and then he's saying it's like Jim Jones saying, have a sip. Have a sip. So Jack Thompson, you're a very bad Jack Thompson, and that's why you are now in bracelets in Boston. So let's get on with the show. So we have some questions for Digger 1. It's going to be questions and answers. I will ask the question. Digger 1 will answer the questions. Okay, put Digger 1 over here so you know that it's authenticated. MAGA. Scott Del Fuego is in the house. Welcome to the machine. Let's see. There is also another gentleman whose name I saw before. Philippines, the Philippines experience. Oh, Scott was already wordsmith. Expat Prepper is in the house. Welcome, Larry. Welcome to the machine. So, Scott Del Fuego with some wordsmithing, and then we'll get back to some questions and answers. A real man, at some point in his life, will face danger and death and make a decision that he will face the reaper rather than to cower and live life as a coward. Some reach this point late and some reach it quickly. Michael decided to stand up and live life as a real man in his early years. He has not cowered or backed down and boldly lives life on his feet rather than existing on his knees. This bold life has engendered jealousy and resentment in many that have disappointed in their own circumstances. While this is pathetic, Michael continues the journey of life with no road unexplored. Wow. Wow. In other words, I live my life. I did it my way. But only real men that have spent years, not days, not months, not minutes, but years of their existence in the most bizarre and dangerous circumstances possible understand that you you have to at some point accept everything and every possibility and just say, well, such is life. Real men, Scott Del Fuego, Warren, I'm sure a lot of other people, I won't mention their names, have lived their life going to work every day and not, there's always the possibility that you could get into a terrible accident anywhere, fall down your own steps. But what I did for a living every day, everything I did all day, working under cranes, the coring, the biggest backhoe, trackhoe in the world, the coring 666, which at the time in 1990 was the biggest trackhoe they would assemble on the job site. Cranes, 150, 200, 300-ton cranes. What I did, I realized that you didn't get hurt what I did for a living. It turned you into tomato juice. You would be happy if you got turned into tomato juice, because if you lived through some of the stuff that could have happened on my job sites or jobs I worked on, you wouldn't want to live anyway. But you got these guys out there with diapers, little diapers. They couldn't do. People would come to work for me on my barge, under my crane, under my supervision, which from 1984 to 1999, I operated my own cranes and barges, and never once, except for one fingernail, I knocked the fingernail off of a guy named Frank. And that was the truth. In 15 years of operating heavy equipment, one day, Frank told him to put on a pair of gloves, and he didn't. And his fingernail got knocked off by an 8-foot splinter. We used to call that splinters. But when you live your life on the edge, or as a man, you think I give a flying Tootsie Roll that the NBI or the CIA or the NSA, you think I care that they're watching my show? I welcome their extra views, their thumbs up, and their laughter, because I hear they get quite a kick out of my shows. And they can go through my background and see that everything I said is true. So do you think I care about that? No, because I've never done anything that they would really be concerned about. However, being that we're on the subject, there is the possibility that other people have done things that there is more of an interest in Then Rabbi Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. So let's get back to the show. Thank you, Scott Fuego. Look at these. These are his bottom of the flat earth shoes, guys. This is Digger One. This is what keeps Digger One from falling into the holes and not being able to get out. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Anti-gravity boots on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So let me get back to my notes. Thank you very much, Scott. I'll read further in a moment. We are Digger One. Enter Digger One. Digger One. Yes, Rabbi. What's the first thing you do in the morning, Digger One? What's the very first thing you do in the morning when you wake up? On the top of the bottom of the flat earth. What's the first thing? Oh, Rabbi, I scour the social media for things that need correcting and things that need to be changed. So Digger One, what you're telling me is that you believe you have the power to change the world. Well, I have magical thinking. Not as strong as yours, Rabbi, but my magical thinking is very magical. Maybe more magical than it should be, but not as good as your magical thinking, Rabbi. So you admit that my magical thinking is more powerful than your magical thinking? Well, yes, but I don't like to admit that, so let's drop that subject. Okay, Digger One, will water under the bridge. So what else is it that you like to do besides correcting people and the governments of the world and things like that? Okay, so Digger One is going to do his first disclaimer. Disclaimer! 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 Okay, so Digger One says, disclaimer! Some of the following is hearsay. But I will tell you, but wait. Disclaimer! 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 Some of the following is hearsay, but I will tell you the paperwork we will talk about in this portion of the show, as I understand it, may very well possibly be processed sometime in the distant near future, but there's no guarantees on that. Disclaimer! 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 Okay, Digger One, you got your point across, Digger One. Thank you very much. So what Digger One is saying that not everything that he says is going to be true, but some things that he doesn't say are true, is true, was true, and will be true, but you won't know if it's true for a while. Is that what you said? Exactly what I said, Rabbi. You can read between the lines. Salamat. Oh, kisses for Rabbi Chewbacca. Oh, kisses for Rabbi Chewbacca. Mr. Obama, wake up. Nobody kisses Rabbi Chewbacca but me. Easy, Mr. Obama. We're all on the same bottom of the top of the flat earth. No! Keep the boy away from you. I'll beat him up. Beat him silly. Oh. Go away. Okay, so we'll put Digger One over here. Digger One says, the first thing I do as Digger One is file reports to the powers that be, like YouTube and other units around on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Really? How's that working out for you so far? Well, I'm going to tell you, let me tell you a little story. Okay, you tell me a little story, Digger One. Tell me whatever story it is that you want to tell me, because you got some stories to tell. Well, let me show it to you so you understand. I'm not kidding around. Those kangaroo police are not cooperating well as I thought. And I have to remind them daily to do their fucking jobs on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So what are you saying? Saying that those fucking kangaroo police, they don't listen to my magic thinking. What are the magical police? What are the kangaroo police's jobs exactly? Well, let me show it to you so you don't have to say it. Everybody could see for themselves. Let's go through this again. What are the kangaroo police's jobs exactly? Well, everyone knows that Cancer Boy is trying to kill me using video YouTube uploads on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Everyone knows this. He's trying to kill me. So what are you saying? I'm trying to say that Cancer Boy is trying to kill me by YouTube video uploads on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. It's right there, Rabbi. Death by YouTube videos on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Right there in your face. Could see that. Everybody knows this. Okay, all right, okay. So why haven't the kangaroo police stopped Cancer Boy? Well, I think the kangaroo police have been paid off, bribed, so to speak, on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. That's a pretty wild accusation that you think that Cancer Boy paid off the kangaroo police. What I think in my mind is magic. If I think it's magical, therefore it is. We'll get to that a little while later. But if I have magical thinking, and if they need to listen to my magical thinking, they gotta listen to me. My magical thinking is powerful. Not as powerful as my magical thinking. No, but it's really powerful in comparison to Rabbi Chewbacca's magical thinking. It's very powerful. I'm like second in powerful magical thinking on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Relax, little fella. Relax. Hold on. Just hold on to your shit there for a minute. So, has anybody approached Cancer Boy on the top of the bottom of the flat earth? We're going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you how it went down. How it went down. It didn't go down good for me or Cancer Boy. I'm very disappointed in the kangaroo police. So, what exactly did you tell the kangaroo police, Digger One? Well, you read it. Read it for yourself. It's right there. But it's next to the part that I can't show. I gotta keep some shit close to my chest. Okay, so you just tell me. I told the kangaroo police he was trying to give me a fucking heart attack by making scathing videos, and they should approach him with lots of caution on the bottom of the top of the flat earth. You mean the top of the bottom of the flat earth? That too! Both of them places. He could be anywhere. You know how the Cancer Boy is. He's over here one day, he's over there. Okay. Well, and what happened? What happened when you told them that Cancer Boy was trying to kill you? Well, I could show you this. You could read this for yourself. They went to Cancer Boy's house with a SWAT team, like with SWAT teams ready to go in with the universal key. If old Cancer Boy didn't open the door, they would use a bazooka tool on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. They would use the bazooka blaster tool, the universal key, on the top of the bottom of the bottom of the top of the flat earth if Cat Boy didn't open up his door. And then, well, luckily, Cancer Boy opened up the door. Luckily for him, because it cost a lot of money to use the bazooka tool, and it makes a lot of smoke. So, what happened to Cancer Boy when the Kangaroo police went to Cancer Boy's house on the top of the bottom of the flat earth? What happened to him? The Kangaroo police didn't do nothing. Nothing. They didn't do nothing to Cancer Boy. They sat around and they had coffee and donuts and they talked about things that can't even talk about on here because I got a giggling order. I can't talk about everything. All right. So then what happened? Well, a few days later, I said, fuck this. I'm going to do this again. This time, I'll give them all the magical thinking. I'll give them everything. I'll put the bippy in. I'll bippy the little guy. I'll put the bippy in. I'll play the victim with the bippy. Oh my God. And I'll show them the diaper, which is not why I have the diaper, but later, I'll tell you, but the diaper is good for sure. So you put the diaper and you put the bippy in and you went back to the Kangaroo police and you played the victim card. Yeah, works almost all the time, but not this time. So what happened? What happened, Digger One? Well, I did it again a few days later, and they sent some more SWAT teams with more bazooka, universal key bazooka door opening things and flashbangs. And they knocked on Cancer Boy's door, and he opened up the door, but it was too late. While he was opening up the door, the bazooka tool went off accidentally, and they threw the flashbangs in, and Cancer Boy went down like a lead brick next to his bird. And they revived Cancer Boy. They all took turns. What do you mean? They all took turns. Well, what do you mean? They took turns. Took turns doing what, Digger One? Reviving him. How'd they take turns? They all put their lips, and they all was blowing in his mouth. Are you serious? They all took turns. Don't you understand? The Kangaroo police. I think I'm going to skip the next couple of lines from what I see. So when they were done reviving Cancer Boy, what happened? I explained to them. I was on my story phone. I was on the story phone that I do magical reviews, but I was on the story phone and I told them I was giving them a blow by blow while they was trying to revive Cancer Boy, and I told them like this. I have a magical thinking. I have a magical thinking. I have a magical thinking. You will do what I say. I have a magical thinking. And did it work? No! But I will tell you what happened next anyway. Okay, so you were on the story phone with the Kangaroo police, and what did you say? Tell them to arrest Cancer Boy on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. And did they listen? No. But they told me to take my magical thinking and to put it where the sun doesn't shine. And I told them, I'll tell them anytime I want, every day, anytime I want. I calls them up on my story phone and tells them to go get Cancer Boy and put him in the fisticuffs. So you told them, basically, you told them to screw off, that you're in charge of the Kangaroo police? Is that what you're saying? What exactly I said was, you will do as I say. I have a magical thinking. It works everywhere. You will arrest Cancer Boy. Next time, nobody gets to give him resuscitation. Let him go on. Let him move on. No resuscitation next time. So you are wishing bad things on Cancer. Did I say that? I said let him go. Let him move on. I never said I was wishing bad shit on Cancer Boy. I would never say that. Okay, so let's go on to the what is this? What is this magical thinking? Magical thinking, shit, Rabbi. You have magical thinking, but you have magical thinking combined with psychic powers, and the ability for precognition. Your magical thinking is real, and you just fucking magical thinking all by itself, singular. Okay. And what does that mean? It means I want them to follow my instructions, but they don't, because my magical thinking isn't powerful like your magical thinking. Huh? Okay. So, what else did you say to the Kangaroo police? I told them to leave Cancer Boy on the floor. Let him go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 You like that? No! Mr. Obama came to my rescue, and he came to Cancer Boy's rescue. You love Cancer Boy? I love Cancer Boy. I love you, Rabbi, but I love Steve Montelli more. Well, thank you for the save, Mr. Obama. Thank you very much. Salamat. Why stop by in, Rabbi? I'll stop by in. Warren, I'll see you later. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Heard good things about you. So, all right. So, how do you feel? Thank God I still got the spoon. I could still dig. Cannot have the bippy though, but I'll get the bippy back. I will play the victim. Somebody will regress back into the video time and get me the bippy when I play the victim. Everybody loves that. Okay. Now this part of the notes that you can't see here, that's all stricken. We have a giggling order that I'm not allowed to say things that are too funny. So I got to skip down 2 or 3 pages because I had some notes here that I won't be able to. I got a giggling order. Okay, so this part is really interesting. So you're saying in these notes that the Kangaroo police, wait a second, let's get this up on the screen. This is important. Those Kangaroo police can't do a damn thing to me. I'm a citizen of the bottom of the flat earth, living a peaceful and loving life in the Philippines on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. That's right. So basically, because you, Digger One, come from the bottom of the top of the flat earth, that you're immune to their crazy way of thinking. That's right. They could think what they want. I have to stop my magical thinking. Not for them, not for Rabbi Chewbacca, and certainly not for Cancer Boy. I can continue the magical thinking forever. Well, that's good to know. Let's get on to. We have some more show, and you know what I'm going to do? Would you mind if I go back to the show comments? No, consider the next 4 pages are struck out from the records. When we get back, we'll talk about what's on the screen now. I don't want to talk about that now. It makes me nervous. So I'm going to go back to the comments section. Scott Del Fuego says a load of My Philippines Experience. My Philippines Experience says hello to Jack Thompson and also to Scott. I bet Jack gets all of this on eBay. Well, Jack said he could get a lot of these components for the power plant at Ace Hardware and eBay, but he's also trying to get Amazon to start shipping atomics. That's true. Gary, if you're still here, my buddy here, Digger One, he's going to talk about Trump politics in momentarily because we're almost done with the show notes. Whoa, Jack Thompson. Woo! Jack Thompson, down payment for new zombie blades for shaving. I heard about those blades. I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you something about the worthless shaving blades that you buy in the Philippines. They're garbage. You could buy a shaving blade in the Philippines. For me, with a light duty beard, almost no beard at all, you don't get 2 shaves out of them before they're dull. That's true. I'll show it to you. I brought a Schick razor, triple-headed razor. I've been using it for 18 months, since just about April 3rd or 4th of 2019. And I use it whenever I shave, and it's still. Let me get that blade. I'll show it to you, because the freaking razor blades, as a side note, what you buy in the Philippines, these freaking razor blades are worthless, and they're not cheap. I think they're $1 a piece, and you're lucky to get 1 shave out of them. So, Jack, let me get a razor blade and a pot. So I'm going to bang a little pot now. I'm going to bang a big pot, and I want to get the blade itself. So I'll be back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we are. So Jack Thompson for the zombie razor blades. We're gonna make Digger One. He's the new spooner. Got a big smile on his face because he's earning money the old-fashioned way. Digger One. Digger One. Digger One. Magical thinking. Digger One. Money. Magical thinking. Magical thinking. Magical thinking. That's right, Digger One. Magical thinking. Salamat, Jack Thompson. I was faking. I needed restitution. There were 2 good-looking lady SWAT members there. Whoa. Whoa. And actually, that happened. And Warren is now dating one of the ladies from the SWAT team, and all is good. All is good. But 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 I just don't know where to go. There's 2 entire pages of struck notes. Like, that's when you put the line through them. I got to tell you, not looking like I could. There's a lot of the stuff that's from above and below that's not allowed. I can't talk, so I can only say magical thinking. Not working out so good. So, Princess Anne, wow, great rainbow. I show your day, Michael, in here. Hey, don't lose your voice. We go video K, and we all sing there. I wish I could get online, Princess Anne. The computer that I have won't allow me to put the program in to get on anybody's show for any reason. That's why I'm not on more shows. That's why I'm not on any shows. Although I think I could do it with the tablet, but I've never tried it. Jack Thompson says, thank you for stopping by, Princess Anne. Michael, oh, let me show you this blade. I think it's a Schick, Gillette. It's a Gillette G. I'm going to tell you people something. If you're a man, some people just think they're men, but if you're a man, even not a real man, if you shave, let's put it like that. Let's digress. If you shave, this is a Gillette shaving triple head. Okay? If you shave and you don't bring, well, this worked for me for a year and a half, the same blade, and still cuts my beard nice, but if you shave and you don't bring your own razor blades, you're going to use, if you have a heavy beard, you're going to use maybe 1 or 2 of this garbage they sell in the Philippines. And I mean garbage. I'm talking, before I'm done shaving with one of their 25 peso blades, it's dull. So I'm just saying, that's something, if you're a man, you've got to bring razor blades to the Philippines. So, whoa. So, Jack Thompson's reminding me of the weed whacker I built. Yeah, real men modify tools into things that, hey, real men do stuff that real men do. And real men recognize other people's accomplishments, not portray them as stupid or stupidity or insane ideas. What do you think these guys that get on these television shows and they modify a motorcycle and put like a 1,000 horse, 327 cubic inch Chevy engine on this motorcycle, and then like a 12-inch slick in the background? What do you think those guys do? What, you think that's any more or less safe than a 6-foot skill saw? People, men, real men do real men things. Now, real men sometimes do stupid things, but either way, real men take risks. And but the only thing I would agree with, one of my commenters said I didn't have my goggles on. That's true. I forgot to put the goggles on. Normally, I wear I have a regular face shield, or at least eye protection. So, but other than that, the blade falling off and the chances of the blade hitting me, falling off and spinning off into the universe are 0. It's just the way I modified the unit itself. It can't happen. So a tooth could chip off, though. That I'll give you that. So, and I should have had the goggles on. I'll give you that too. To the person who left the comment, and I think that was a guy named Merry Christmas. I even acknowledged that I should have had the goggles on. Yeah, okay, Gary is 100% right. He's correct. You can't buy a Gillette razor blade in the Philippines. You could forget that too. You need to buy, let me tell you what this blade is. The Gillette razor blade I bought was part of a 3 blades and a package. It was $9.95 for one utensil and 3 blades. You could buy a Gillette triple header razor blade in the Philippines. Those are the ones I'm saying last one time, if that. Okay, so what you buy in the Philippines is you buy some piece of worthless metal scrap magnetic rustable thing in the Philippines, and you shave with it about halfway through if you have a heavy beard, and you got to throw it away. If it says Gillette in the Philippines, throw it away. If it says Schick in the Philippines, throw it away. It doesn't matter what it says. Unless you buy the authentic, made in America Gillette or Schick, which is, I think, where they still make them, then you're not buying a legitimate Gillette or Schick razor blade. What they do here is they put Schick razor blades package made in the Philippines. I mean, made in America. So some part of the package is made in America, but the garbage they sell you for razor blades is made in China. The same way they used to put on shirts and clothes in America, made in America. And then if you read the back of that part of the label, it said this label made in America. The rest of it was made in China. So you cannot buy a razor blade in the Philippines, no matter the name, that's an actual Gillette or Schick. Now, this is 18 months, and it shaves me. If I put soap on my face or shampoo or shaving cream, it gives me the closest shave, just like the day I used it for the first time. So I might have used it 100 times. Okay? Do not come to the Philippines. I know it's a stupid thing, but if you're a man and you come to the Philippines without razor blades, that's stupid. Okay, Jack Thompson says, real men take calculated chances to make the job go easier. So with the modified weed whacker that I made, well, I already explained it, but for those people out there who can't get it through their damn little brains, the reason I modified the weed whacker is, number one, it's Merry Christmas is right. It's a Shoutout weed whacker. It's a T25. It's a 2001 model, and I'm thinking it's 2001 because I think that's about when I started my landscaping company in Florida. So it is, parts are not available in the Philippines. The weed whacker parts, I had some of, but I can't find the bulbous or the bulb that the string fits in. It's got a special spring and a bounce mechanism, the clutch. I can't find it. So I just modified it to do what I wanted it to do. Because I still have to cut trees. And some of the trees are two and a quarter inches thick. Now, oh my God. We have red. Wait 1 minute. I modified the weed whacker to cut those 2.5-inch trees at the ground level. So I wouldn't have to bend over sideways with a chainsaw. Not that I can't, but I also modified the weed whacker to cut limbs off of trees overhead where I can reach up and away from the top of the ladder 6 feet or more. So I did something that was necessary to get the job done. As Chris in Cebu's, it gets the job done. Now, if you are a germophobic, a sissy, a wussy, or you like to play the victim card, you have no understanding of mechanical accessories and how to manufacture things and how to make things work in your favor, then I suggest you stick to watching YouTube. Now, we have Super Chat, MAGA, Trump 2020. So we have a guy out there. Wait, first, little bang into the pot. A little bang into the pot for the Philippines experience, baby. We all, okay, so those of you who don't know who the Philippines experience are, it's a man named Gary and a woman named Shaw. They've been together over 3 years. They're getting married when Gary comes back to the Philippines. Shaw is an excellent blogger. Gary is an excellent blogger and also excellent in editing. Okay, so their channel is much better than my channel for editing, for everything. And now when Gary gets back with Shaw, they actually leave the house. They actually leave the house and go to vacation spots in the Philippines, all over. And if you go to their channel and you Google something like Palawan or Bacolod or Dumaguete, you'll see videos from Gary and Shaw traversing the Philippines together, doing things like a zip line, walking down the block, talking to the hosts at the hotels, deciding which hotel to take. They do real life stuff in the Philippines, baby. So for that, we thank Gary for the great vlogs that him and his girl Shaw of 3+ years are making, and we're looking forward to more of those vlogs. And we're going to give Gary a big shout out, and we're going to make the Digger. We're going to make Digger one. We're going to embarrass Digger one and make him give a shout out to Gary, the Philippines experience. Digger one loves Gary. Digger one loves Gary. Digger one loves Gary. Digger one has a very special relationship with Gary. I can't say what it is, but I will tell you. I can't talk about that kind of stuff on YouTube. Digger one. Magical thinking. Tell them that you're the victim now. I'm the victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of the Philippines experience, baby. Let's go. Want to talk about Mr. Trump? We could skip ahead, but not too far. Salamat, Gary, and the Philippines experience, and Shah. Thank you very much for being my friends and maintaining a friendship since the very first day we spoke with one another. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome, Michael says the Philippines experience, which is, he actually does real life stuff, and more so than I ever did. I mean, well, I did a lot of stuff by myself, but not so much traveling with Daisy. But Gary, he actually goes around and they actually do stuff. It's pretty cool. And if you go to the Philippines Experience channel, you might see some of the videos that Shaw puts out. So I'm going to be serious now. Shaw, very attractive woman who actually rides as the driver or conductor of her own tricycle. And she'll go 5, 6, 10 kilometers to a restaurant and sit down, and she knows everybody at the restaurant. But what I find interesting is that she has these little leather gloves that she wears when she's driving the tricycle, and really a good tricycle driver. You could see her. She pays attention to the road and to everything. She's pretty cool. All kidding aside. So Sha makes great vlogs in the Philippines still to this day, even though they're separated, but they'll be back together as soon as the lockdown ends. So that's the truth. Jack Thompson, Gary is my dude. I miss his live streams. He makes he does some. Gary's a very creative man. We'll leave it like that. Now let's get back to the notes. So Digger One, you have one more thing to say about the Kangaroo police? Yeah. Kangaroo police said y'all gonna get something. Y'all gonna get something from me. Y'all gonna be sorry. Screwed with Digger One. All right. Okay, so what should we do until we get that thing? Y'all just hang tight like an ungoy on the bottom of the flat earth. You just wait for Digger One. He's coming at you, baby. What do you mean by that? You'll see. Digger One is going to be giving you all something. You'll see. So, okay, Digger One, what's the next question? We're almost at Mr. Trump now. What's the next thing you do, Digger One, on the top of the bottom of the flat earth? Well, answer is I goes to the YouTube channels and give everyone's a thumbs up. Everyone gets a thumbs up. Sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So it depends on how many gadgets I got going that day. Okay. So you give everybody a thumbs up, and then what? I copy their shows for later study and evaluation. Like a scientist doing scientific stuff. I study, I learn, I magnify, I play back, and I record, and then I make notes on every show, everywhere on YouTube. I'm an idiot savant when it comes to studying YouTube. You're an idiot savant? What, are you deaf, Rabbi? A little bit. So, okay, so after you study all the shows and make all the notes and study all the information and every word and innuendo and inflection of every voice and the insinuation that may or may not have taken place, and you memorize this, then what do you do? I'm putting it down, writing a book, leaving a legacy of love, how to build a channel of love on YouTube. Well, do you remember what Jack Thompson said about your love channel? Fuck can't say what? Just, I don't care what Thompson says. You tell Jack. You know what I'm going to say? Jack Thompson said, he said this. I don't like this that he said this, but he said this. Jack Thompson said, for the Digger One leaving a legacy of love is like Jim Jones saying, have a sip. So Jack Thompson thinks you're full of shit. Minimum. So let's show this to the people out there. So leaving a legacy of love, for you to leave a legacy of love is like Jim Jones saying, have a sip. Is that right? That's what Jack says. He's always fucking with my head. Fucking Jack, pain in the ass. So what do you do to people that are a pain in the ass? And mess with your head. What I do? What I do? You see? You see? What is the most favorite thing you do to people like that? Well, for Jack, I'm going to dig another hole. Next time I get free, I'm going to go out to the football field and dig a whole big hole for Jack Thompson. And then I'm going to put him in there. He's going to be halfway to the bottom of the top of the flat earth. So, what else will you do to Jack Thompson? Well, don't tell anybody, but I bought Jack some special shorts. What do you mean, special shorts? Well, if I tell you, I have to use them. Tell him. Mr. Obama said, tell him, you started this shit, now finish it. Jack Thompson, I got a pair of special shorts for you. What is a special shorts? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means, Jack. Your shorts, they don't have the zipper in the front. They got the zipper in the back for taking care of business. I'll be taking care of your business from now on, Jack. What's the matter, Mr. Obama? That's my job. Oh, well, you guys are going to have to work this out after the show. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to give him a pair of shorts with a zipper in the back. I'll show him what for. He can't hit me back. I got the Secret Service watching. All right, Mr. Obama, you go over there, and you stay over here. Digger, you stay over here. Digger, we got that video of you putting Mr. Obama in the hole. We're going to put that up on my Patreon page. So what else do you do, Digger? What else do you do? I do daily reviews. Daily reviews. Of what, Digger? Well, I like to specialize in failed YouTube bloggers. What they really do in real life, I expose them in real life. So you take it upon yourself. Wait a second. They're not going to believe this. You take it upon yourself to do daily reviews of failed YouTubers, yeah? You take it upon yourself to do daily reviews of failed YouTubers and expose them for what they really are in real life. That's right. And more than that, more. I'm adding that. That's nothing. I'm adding a new venue. It's called 24/7 Review This and That. So, what does that mean? I'm going to be reviewing shit all day. Is that why you carry a diaper on your waistband? No, that's not why. Could work for that, reviewing that shit, but not exactly. So, why do you carry the diaper? Please tell everybody why you carry the diaper. Right now, we'd like to know, please. Well, I carry the diaper for those YouTubers that look into my eyes and pee in their pants from fear of being exposed to the truth on the top bottom of the flat earth. So the diaper is not for you, it's for them that pee in their pants when they see you coming from fear of being exposed from the truth. That's right. The diapers are for them guys, not for me. So what type of reviews do you do on the top of the bottom of the flat earth? Well, Ren Zero. I've been specializing in Ren Zero this week because Ren Zero and Trixie, they got shit that everybody needs to know about. And something more. Big Kevin, tell everybody what the facts are about the bolo knife incident. I'm not going to let Big Kevin live that down. Don't you think Big Kevin has enough problems without you possibly misleading people on the truth? No. Well, all right. So let's just go. What's the next subject, little fella, little digger one? What's the next subject? Well, there is the moral shows I do on the proper age cap for dating in the Philippines, where I expose them for being immoral and possible lawbreakers. According to my magical thinking, if you are more than 22 years bigger age cap, they should be punished on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. And what else? This is getting hard for me to understand now. This also, if their wives or girlfriends are no good or fat or ex-bar girls or scamming, I remind them of those factoids. So, Digger One, aren't you afraid of hurting people's feelings, Digger One? No. Should I be afraid? Well, Digger One, what would you consider while you're giving out all this public disinformation? I'm a lover of all men on the bottom of the top of the flat earth. And I'm a lover of all men on the bottom of the top of the flat earth. And I'm a lover of all men in general, both on the top and the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth. That's why I created a channel of love, because I love all mankind. Oh, wow, that was a mouthful, Digger. A mouthful. You made it funny. No pun intended. Is there more, Digger? Oh, yes. I demand that certain people don't earn money on YouTube on the grounds that they are less than honest because of their scams. So, what about Rabbi Drew Barker? No! Rabbi Drew Barker is a e-beggar. I'm doing a public service so people will know not to give money to anyone but me. I run a legitimate scam, e-beggar scam. But everybody else, they're scamming and running illegitimate, even legitimate scams. What does a dishonest e-beggar look like? Everybody but me is a dishonest e-beggar. Give us an example. Rabbi Drew Barker is an example. He makes them send him monies for a cell phone and then claims there are no cell phones available because of the mockdown. He's lying. Isn't that allowed? No! He can't run a legitimate scam or an illegitimate scam on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. No damn scams allowed in my world of magical thinking on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Why is that, Digger One? Well, the French philosopher Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. And in my world, I have magic thinking, and therefore what I think is true must be true, is true, because I think, therefore it's magical, therefore it's true. According to the famous French philosophers Rene Descartes. Okay. What else do you do besides exposing frauds on YouTube? Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. Put the camera back on the screen. I likes to find out personal information. Don't you mean personal? No, I mean personal. I'm a, I'm like an anal retentive person. I gotta know everything about everybody, right down to the hairs on their ass. And why do you need to know all this information? If they don't give me super chats after I gets the information, I gives the information out on social media. And then I send people to their houses with donuts and coffee to say hello. So, wait a minute. Isn't that against the law and called stalking and unjust vexation? Have a drink. Have a sip. Back to the question. Isn't that against the law and called stalking and unjust vexation? On the top of the bottom of the flat earth? Well, you got to put the thing on the screen again, because what's going to happen next is going to blow your mind. So I asked the question, isn't that unjust vexation? Only if it's done to me, it's criminal. But if it's done to you, fuck you where you breathe. Yes, why do you ask? Well, Digger One, I was just trying to, I'm just taking notes on how to win friends and influence people on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. So, Digger One, what else do you do with your day? I likes to clean stuff, any stuff, all stuff. I likes to clean stuff in my free time. I get the germs, I kill the germs. The germs are no good. I make the germs go away. What do you do for entertainment, Digger One? Whoa, this is my favorite. Put it back on the screen. Put it back on the screen. Entertainment, Digger One, what do you do for entertainment? I like to go out for long walks in the mountains and count the big balls on the stray female dogs along the way. What the fuck did you just say? I like to go out for long walks in the mountains and count the big balls on the stray female dogs along the way. Is that too again the law, Sapphire? On the top of the bottom of the flat earth, is that against the law, Sapphire? No, Marshall Dillon, that not against the law. But it's crazy shit, Digger One. What I like to do, I like to count those big balls. Not that I'm really interested in the big balls on the female dogs, but I find it very magnetic. Magnetic is a good word. Okay, Digger One. Wow. So you do all of this before breakfast? Yeah. What about it? What do you do after breakfast? Then I get busy with my blogger reviews and truth bombs, exposing the worst of the worst liars, thieves, and e-beggars on the top of the bottom of the flat earth. And then I scour social media sites for possible fraud and things that need to be changed. And sometimes I do reviews on the local mountain gift shops and other places to enjoy. Oh my God, you're a very busy man. What do you do, let's say, after dinner? Well, this is where Gary, the Philippines experience, he's going to like the way I do this shit. I'm very well versed on politics, so I like to share my vast understanding of Trump lies, and I make believers for the Trump campaign. How do you do that? Well, I could agree with one thing. Trump flip-flopped on wearing masks, but that's all. So after you recruit people by giving Joe Biden, your nomination, and after you recruit some Trump members of the Trump team, what do you do? What kind of like recreation do you have? Well, my favorite time of the day, winding down, and then I play a game called Toss the Footballs with the stray female dogs with the big balls on the stray female dogs I find during my free time along the way, whilst having a Shirley Temple with apple juice in my sippy cup. Which reminds me, Rabbi, would you get my sippy cup for me? Sure, little digger one. Sure. You're going to have to give me a minute. The sippy cup bounces. I know, it's like a football, right? It's like a football. Yay! So, all right. I don't see it. I'm going to have to. Hold on, ladies. He's going to end the show with a sippy cup full of apple juice. He likes the way that works out. But I, on the other hand, I am the one that has to find Digger One's sippy cup.